Hello and welcome to another episode of Money Makers. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that probably gets one of the strongest reactions from people. And when I say that, it is not a positive, it is not a positive reaction generally. I don't think I've ever said this to someone and they've been like, yes, I can do that. Normally people go like, oh my God, what are you on about? So, and the reason I want to talk about this thing is because, and this is definitely an overused phrase of mine, but it's a huge game changer in your business if you can allow yourself to do this very thing. And it shocks me constantly how few people are doing this. But it will absolutely change your business. So, what I'm talking about is selling every single day. Now, you might have heard me say that and instantly be like, no. Or maybe I just haven't met the people that are like, yes, I'm not doing that, but yes, I should be doing that. Because I think if you're not doing it already, either your answer is going to be like, yeah, I already do that, or there's a reason you're not doing that. And of course, there's nuance in that. Do I sell every single day? Well, yes and no, actually. Yes and no. I don't do a specific call to action every day. I would argue every time you show up in your business, you are selling. What a lot of people do very well is hide how people can follow through on that sale. So a good example of this is where people put their content out there, particularly like people who make amazing things, like creators of products and things like that. I have so many times like seen an amazing painter, for example, an artist on Instagram, and been like, oh my God, I'd love to buy their thing. Oh, I have to DM them for the price. Oh, I have to DM them to find out more. Like, no. So that's a really good example of how they're selling. They're going out, they're showing off their stuff. But there's this like lack of follow through. Like, it's not an easy path for me to then go and do, buy the thing, do the thing, the reason they've shown up and sold in the first place. So do I sell every day? Yes and no. When I'm putting out content, to my mind, it's always selling. Sometimes, like mostly, there's a specific call to action, particularly on Instagram and in my emails, always in my emails. But I don't go out every day and be like, this is what you can buy from me today. And we're going to talk more about that as we go on. So, like I said, this is one of the things I get the most kickback on from people. People are really, really reticent. If I say like sell every day, email every day, that one, people are like, what? I can't do that. People less so about posting every day now. I think when I used to talk about that was a bit more of a thing, but you will still hear people saying like, how many times can I post? Like 2-3 times a week? And you can. The algorithms are not moving in our favor on that one. And you can, of course, email that amount. Absolutely. But I have heard so many people say, the more I email, the more money I make. So many people. And they'll also say, the more I email, the more unsubscribes I get. So there certainly needs to be like a process there to be getting the people in as well as doing the emailing. But, this, I did a post on this a little while ago. There is absolutely a correlation between the amount of space someone is taking up in their business, the amount they are really showing up for their business, and the amount they are posting in terms of social media content. If that's their, how they market their stuff. There is such a correlation there. If I say to you, and if you've heard me say either sell every day or email every day, and you've gone, oh my God, I could never, or I can't do that right now. That's, by the way, this does not mean, oh, well, you should give up now. Like, not at all. But what it means is like, oh, there's something to be done there. Because why do you feel like that's too much? Why wouldn't people want to hear from you every day? Like, of course they would. And it's a real old, like, adage, I think is the word, but it's like kind of received wisdom in the business world. that often people say to me, oh, what I offered didn't sell. I think it was too expensive. I think I didn't communicate this well, or I didn't do this. I don't think people want products like that. And then I ask them, well, how much did you share about it? Oh, how many emails did you send about it? How much did you talk about it? It's, with a specific call to action to that product. And they're like, once, twice, a little bit. You need to talk about it so much. In the early stage of my business, once I pivoted to talking about money, I would get emails after launching money courses, calling myself a money coach. I would get emails from people being like, do you know anyone who talks about money? Me, I do. And I was talking about it every single day. And what I mean by that is people still miss things. You are the only person present for all of your content. You're the only one who sees every single bit of it. So yeah, it might seem like a lot to you, but most people are missing some of it. And to be reminded of something in this by somebody whose work you love, which is why you're following them, it's why you're opening their emails, it's why you're not unsubscribing or unfollowing, to be reminded, like, I'm grateful when that happens. Like, oh, I forgot about that. Not because I think that person's not worth anything, not because I don't think what they do is great, not because I don't want to buy, not because I think their thing's too expensive, but because the online world is noisy. Because there's so many things vying for my attention. But to hear from somebody who I've connected with, who I trust, whose stuff I like, I'm so grateful for those repeat reminders. And your people will be too, just like you are. Maybe that's why you're listening to this podcast, because I banged on about it. Maybe, and that is so important. It's so important that we remind people about what we do and how they can buy from us. So getting good at this, getting comfortable with this, which takes practice. That's the other thing with selling every day. You get much better at it much faster because you're practicing. It will change your business quickly. The amount of people that have come onto my courses who, let's say they make a product and they put it on their website and then they're like, well, no one bought it. This is particularly on the selling course. Sell that thing. And so, yeah, because you have to tell them. Work on your SEO and stuff, absolutely, but you have to be putting it places. So why do we feel this way about selling? I think selling plays into a lot of our conditioning. So we have been conditioned to be kind at all costs. Selling often doesn't feel kind. I mean, a lot of people, you may be one of these people, really, and clients say this a lot, how do I convince this person to buy? And I often say, you don't convince people, we don't pressure people, we invite them. But the way that selling is often modeled by all sorts, from the adverts we grew up with, the people that would have knocked, salespeople that have knocked on our doors, and particularly if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, that would happen a lot. The way that advertising happens on telly, magazines, all sorts of ways, like a lot of that is not kind selling. And so we start to believe that that's the only way we can sell, and it just isn't. Selling can be as simple as giving people value. And by that, I mean showing up, telling them your thoughts, telling them your theories. If you make things, showing them what you create and how, like a bit about how you create it, just sharing a bit about who you are. People get really tied up with the whole value thing. If I go and see one of my friends and we have a chat about life and our feelings and our thoughts, that's incredibly valuable to me. It's incredibly valuable. I might leave feeling kind of my cup a bit fuller. I might have laughed, I might feel more seen. That's value. That right there. I think we overcomplicate selling and content. Think of it as how you build a relationship. What do you want people to know about who you are? What do you want them to feel when they read your content, when they watch your videos, when they see photos of what you make or the photos that you've taken? How do you want them to feel? That's value. The way that you make them feel is value. And often the sale is, and I always use this as an example of a dinner party with selling. And you know why I love it? Because it fits into so many scenarios. I can't tell you how many ways I've twisted this analogy. So if you meet your friend in a park and you're having a lovely chat and you're doing what I just described, where, you know, you're getting that value, just that value from being in this relationship with one another. And your friend says, hey, do you want to come back to mine for dinner? And we can carry on this conversation. That's what selling is. Yeah, there's a money element. And, you know, obviously I talk about that a lot. But that's really what it is. It's just an invitation of, would you like to carry on this conversation here? Would you like to take a piece of the sort of, you know, so I'm thinking of an artist again, like someone's on Instagram and they see your amazing painting and they feel a certain way from it. It does something inside them. All selling does is say, you know, you can have this every day. You can have this in your home. And here it is. And they go and buy it. It doesn't need to involve a whole like lecture on all the fixtures and fittings and features and blah, 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 about why you should buy the thing. So when I use this analogy, this dinner party analogy, I always say, like, you meet your friend in the park, you're having a lovely chat, and you're saying, like, why don't we carry this on? You don't say, hey, would you like to come to mine for a dinner party? I always do this voice when I do this analogy. Anyway, would you like to come to mine for a dinner party? We'll start, you'll walk in, I'll take off your coat, we'll walk through, I'll get you a drink, it will probably be in one of these glasses, and then I will take you to the dining table where you'll sit down. I'm going to sit on the left, you can sit on the right, blah, 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 blah. Then we'll have soup, we'll have this. You don't run through everything that's going to happen in the dinner party because that's what's going to draw them in. You give them a vibe. You might say, do you want to come round to mine for dinner? I've been making this really lovely, I don't know, stew. Let's just say stew. I could make that. What do you think? You know, you might go, nothing massive. Well, you're not drinking at the moment. No worries. I'll get some nice kombucha in. Just like completely randomly. You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. You give them a vibe. I'm not saying that features and fixtures and fittings and all of that stuff is not important. Just realize I'm doing this for a YouTube video as well, and I'm forgetting, and I'm trying to catch a fly while I'm talking. So that'll be on the YouTube video, which is fine. Anyway. Oh dear. I'm not saying that features of your courses or what you create or anything aren't important. They are important. It matters, particularly on a website. There might be, you know, parts of that that are very enticing to people. But when that's all people talk about, A, the selling is boring for other people. B, it can feel like the selling can be boring for you. B, and C, it can feel like there's a way you've got to do it. And I think this is one of the real key things when it comes to not wanting to sell every day. I think a lot of us feel like we have to show up as somebody that's not us. So when I say sell every day, maybe you're hearing pressure people every day, convince people every day, bore people every day. And that's not it. That's not what selling's about. It's connect with people every day, build trust with people every day, illuminate corners of their brains. If you're a service provider, a coach or a mentor or a consultant, you know, it's give them ideas, give them fresh perspectives every day. That's part of selling. Who wouldn't want to do that? Like that's, and maybe you've got different parts of your values that you can like bring out. But for me, it's like, Tell the truth every day. Connect with people, build community every day, and invite them to do that more intimately in various things that I offer. One-to-one, sell that thing, plenty, money mastery. Come in, come and join me. And yes, there's a money exchange, but that's okay. That's all right. That's part of supporting each other. So to track right back, our conditioning gets poked at with this. We should be kind. It's not, and you're not wrong, it's not kind to convince and coerce and pressure people. And so if that was the only way to sell, you'd be spot on, but it isn't. And I know you're more creative than that. You don't have to follow the way everyone's told you have to do it. Would I be bragging? It's not, our conditioning tells us to be modest, particularly a lot of cultural conditioning that really changes depending where you're from. But particularly in Europe, is it true it's in Europe? I'm thinking of particularly Ireland and the UK. There's a lot about that. I also hear Australians talk about tall poppy syndrome a lot. I think that's what it's called. Like there's definitely a cultural thing of like, oh, would I be bragging? Is it irritating for people? And again, you get to do it your way. The way that I would, I think my offerings are shit hot. I think they're great. I think they're really transformative. So it doesn't feel like bragging to me because A, it feels true. And B, I am very mindful of putting across the fact that I am a full human being, fully flawed as we all are, which stops them kind of being flaws because it's what everyone's got anyway. But I am I'm a messy human. And so it is possible for me to have offers that I absolutely adore and believe in and not think I'm the best thing that's ever happened to the world, not be unaware of where I have, flaws or, issues going on. The idea that we are either deluding ourselves about our own brilliance or can never talk about what we're actually genuinely good at is nonsense and really reductive. I prefer, again, just going with the truth. I can pretend they're not good. What would be the point? It doesn't mean I'm bragging or showing off. It can just be a factual statement. It's an opinion as well, obviously. All humans struggle with self-doubt, but certain humans, let's remember, have had that self-doubt played on and magnified. That is particularly true of anyone who's not a white man. And even then, and I would say it's even complicated then, because our ideas of what's masculine and what's not have again been played on. It really does all intersect with each other. So have a think about what it would mean to show up and sell every day. Treat it like an experiment. Treat it like a practice. I would love to see more of you doing it. And if you want support in that, if you want to spend some time unpacking your feelings about it, getting really comfortable with being visible, looking at your pricing, we have the best offer for you. We have a selling bundle, which includes Sell That Thing. It includes a visibility workshop. It includes a pricing mini course. It also includes the selling challenge. Honestly, the most stonking value. It would normally be cost you a lot more to get all of those offers, and we're selling it for a really, really amazing price. So pop to the show notes and have a look at that. I would love to have you involved. I would love to see you make more money just by doing this thing. I'm not saying there won't be other elements of your business that you need to work on, but if you don't work on this, then doing all the other stuff won't matter as much because people won't be hearing about it. You won't be showing up and doing your thing. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you want to leave me a review on Instagram, on the podcast, that's what I mean. I would love that. See you soon.